Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to Project Mona's House. My name is Danielle Roberts, and professionally, I am the commissioner for the Community Services and Recreation for the City of Buffalo. But I do have the privilege of serving on the board of directors for this incredible organization, and it is a pleasure to see the amazing work that is done here. I'm really so grateful for the opportunity uh, to be a part of something that is so necessary, so needed. And I have our board chair here, Gabrielle, with me. We are grateful that you have chosen to spend your evening with us, chosen to put it on your calendar to see the work that was done. That is being done. You've toured the facility. You see where our women are being welcomed and how they are being treated. You've had the opportunity to meet members of our community. You'll hear some of the stories of transformation. You'll learn more about the work that's happening every single day to prevent exploitation, to restore lives, and to create pathways to freedom. So thank you for being here. We hope tonight leaves you informed, inspired, and motivated to join us in building a safer Western New York. We couldn't do it without the work of volunteers. We couldn't do it without the community members who support this work. So we really want to thank you for being here. Ladies, yeah, let's start clapping. So we're going to begin our formal program shortly, but I do want to invite our board chair, Gabrielle, to talk about why this work is so important to her as our leader of the board.
Testing, testing. Vibe check. How are we all feeling tonight? We got a good one over here. How about this side of the room? It's Buffalo summer and we just made it through winter. I need a little more noise than that. There we go. There we go. My name is Gabrielle Burns and I am just really excited that you all chose. It is a choice that you came here tonight to learn more about your community, more about how to make an impact, more about what's going on in your backyard. And my story on how I got involved with Project Mona's House, I was once on the other side in a chair similar to yours. My mom came home to me and my sister and said, I met the most amazing, inspirational, stylish woman I've ever met, and you must meet her. And I said, okay, Mom, because you can't say no, right, to Mom. You just say yes. And we came and we went to the Trafficking 101 training. And sitting there, I went from, wow, this place is very stylish and I love the energy in here, to tears in my eyes with a just complete awestruck, eye-opening, perspective-changing moment when Kelly speaks and you start to open your eyes to what is going on, not just in the world, but right here in our backyard, in our community, to our neighbors, to your friends' daughters, right? It could be anyone. You start to have this call to help, to serve. And that's exactly what happened to my mom, my sister, and I. We started as volunteers, and then it grew in my relationship with Project Mona's House and with Kelly and with the lovely, amazing, hardworking employees here started to develop, and that's how I led myself into the position as the president of the board. So I sit here and I look at all of you and the choice you made tonight, it really is potentially life-changing on how you get involved and how you're called to help your community. And right now in the world, like, this is just the right place to be. We need people like you. And I just want to express such gratitude for that choice you've made to be here. So tonight is going to be inspirational. It's going to be potentially a little emotional here and there, and hopefully you just have that call to learn more. So I will be lingering in the background throughout the night. If you have any questions, you know exactly where to find me. I wore bright green, so you can't miss it. And for now, I am going to invite the woman that created all this. Please welcome Ms. Annette Galloway.
Thank you. And I am glad to be part of Project Mona's House. Never would I have thought it. But the world we live in We just have to deal with what we are faced with in reality. But I am called to do the opening prayer, so let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day, but we also come with heavy hearts caused by human trafficking, the cruelty that steals the dignity and crushes lives. You have seen every hidden place, every silent cry, every soul longing to be free. Stretch out your hand of justice. Break the powers of traffickers. Expose every system that protects exploitation. Strengthen those who fight for freedom and truth. And Lord, we thank you for Project Mona's House, a ministry, a refuge, a place of healing, a place of restoration. Bless the women who entered its doors, survivors learning how to breathe again, to rise again, to survive and overcome. Your protection and support that rebuilds hope, empowers leaders and workers who pour out their compassion each and every day, using wisdom and strength in every way. Make us a people who refuse to be silent. Give us courage to advocate, protect, and to stand for the vulnerable. Let the grace of your love continue to prevail over each one of us. Let your justice rise, your mercy heal, and the light of overcoming every shadow. And we pray this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I absolutely believe this is God's work and it's hard work, and we could not do it without our faith to carry on. So thank you, Elder Galloway, for your prayer. Now it is my pleasure to welcome the president of the board of directors for Project Mona's House, Elizabeth Kavanaugh, for our official welcome.
Hello, I'm actually the vice president of the board. And unlike Gabby, I do need cue cards to read. So, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the board of directors of Project Mona's House, welcome. Welcome to our community partners, our elected officials, law enforcement professionals, educators, advocates, volunteers, donors, friends, family, and everyone joining us online. Tonight is more than an event. Tonight is a conversation about freedom. At Project Mona's House, we believe that freedom belongs to every person, every child, every woman, every man, every family, every person that has breath in their body, value in their life, and a God-given purpose that deserves the opportunity to flourish. Over the years, our understanding of human trafficking has evolved. For many people, Hollywood created an image of trafficking that causes us to look for white vans and strangers while overlooking the vulnerabilities that exists in our own neighborhoods. But what we have learned is that trafficking does not happen in a vacuum. It often intersects with poverty. Also, housing instability, mental health challenges, substance use disorders, family separation, educational barriers, violence, social isolation, and a lack of opportunity. When vulnerabilities increase, exploitation becomes easier. That's why Project Mona's House has committed itself to fight human trafficking through a holistic approach that addresses the conditions that place people at risk in the very first place. We believe prevention begins long before exploitation occurs. We believe restoration requires more than rescue. And we believe that advocacy must extend beyond awareness into meaningful action. Tonight, you will hear stories of prevention, restoration, advocacy, and hope. You will hear from participants, parents, community leaders, and staff members whose lives and work reflect the mission of this organization. But tonight is not only about what has been accomplished, it's also about where we are going. For the past several years, our team has studied the data, examined the trends, listened to survivors, evaluated programs, and learned from the communities we serve. We have asked the difficult questions, measured outcomes, and work to understand what is truly making a difference in Western New York. Tonight, we will share not only what we have learned, but our vision for the future. A vision for freedom in Western New York through 2030. Before I begin, I would like to recognize once again our board president, Gabrielle Burns, and to my fellow board members, Joanna Johnson, Maya Drake. If you guys want to stand up, that would be helpful. Jamil Cruz, Danielle Roberts, Morgan Hardy, and Deborah Weber. Some people are over there. I would also like to recognize the incredible team that makes this work possible each and every day. If you can also stand up. Jalissa, Emily, Bella, Carissa, Demetria, all over there, sorry. You can come this way if you'd like to. And many, and the many volunteers, partners, and supporters who stand alongside this organization. And finally, we recognize our founder and executive director, Kelly Diane Galloway, whose vision, leadership, and unwavering commitment continue to challenge all of us to imagine what freedom could look like for every person in our community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in this work. And thank you for joining us as we present the State of Freedom for Western New York 2026 and beyond.
Thank you to the VP of the board. I now want to welcome Freedom Center Manager. They say that many hands make light work, and she is not afraid of work. So our center manager, Mrs. Carissa Dow, will share with us why this work is so critical, why it's so important, and the difference that it's making every day.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carissa Dow, and I serve as the Freedom Center Manager here at Project Mona's House. A few years ago, I started with this organization as an office assistant. I could never have imagined then that one day I would have the privilege of walking alongside so many incredible women and girls as they worked to rebuild their lives. Today, I oversee programming at the Freedom Center, our intake process, and much of the day-to-day support that helps participants move from their first interaction with our organization all the way through graduation and beyond. One of the things that makes Project Mona's House unique is that we don't just offer programs, we build relationships. When a woman walks through our doors, she's not a number, she's not a statistic, she's not a case file. She is a person with a story, a person with strengths, a person with dreams, and often a person carrying challenges that most people will never see. Whether someone participates in the residential support program, the Freedom Center, or Overcomer Academy, I have the opportunity to do life with them. I get to celebrate their victories. I get to encourage them when they feel stuck. I get to watch them discover strengths they didn't know they had. And sometimes I sit with them through some very difficult moments. This work is incredibly rewarding, but it is not always easy. There are times when someone struggles to finish their journey. Sometimes the barriers are addiction. Sometimes it's unresolved trauma. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's self-doubt. Sometimes it's believing they don't deserve success, even when success is right in front of them. Those moments weigh on us because we care deeply about the people we serve. But what keeps us going are the women who keep showing up, the women who decide to try again, the women who choose healing, the women who discover that their past does not have to determine their future. One of the ways we support that journey is through Overcomer Academy. Overcomer Academy is our intensive 3-month personal development program designed to help women build stability, confidence, and practical life skills. Participants engage in topics such as goal setting, financial literacy, emotional wellness, healthy relationships, workforce development, entrepreneurship, civic engagement, and long-term planning. But more than anything, Overcomer Academy helps women begin to see themselves differently. It helps them to recognize that they are capable of more than surviving. They are capable of thriving. Tonight, you'll hear directly from some of the people this work is designed to serve. You'll hear from an overcomer, you'll hear from an empowered parent, and you'll hear from an empowered girl. Because while statistics matter, stories matter too. And the people who have experienced these programs firsthand are the best people to tell you what this work truly means. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for believing in freedom. And thank you for supporting the women and girls who continue to inspire us every single day.
Thank you very much, Carissa. I think she said it best. The stories are what matters. And so we are going to welcome our first testimonial from our overcomer so that you can hear firsthand the real impact that is making. And Montana, I would like you to come up and share. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Montana. First, I want to say how truly grateful I am to be standing here tonight as a graduate of the Overcomer Academy at the Freedom Center. This program has meant more to me than I can put into words. It is not just a class or another program I attend. It became a safe, God-centered place that I can grow, reflect, heal, and reconnect with the woman God created me to be. When I first came to this program, I was carrying a lot. I've experienced homelessness, addiction, trauma, and abusive relationships. I'm also a single mother in recovery, and for a season of my life, I started to lose sight of myself. I was doing my best to survive and be a mother, but I started neglecting my own health, growth, and future. Project Mona has helped me find a way back. This program gave me hope, direction, and accountability. It reminded me that life still has purpose, that my story is not over, and that God can use even painful parts of my journey to build something meaningful. The Overcomer Academy and the Freedom Center helped me understand that what I have been through does not disqualify me. It has helped develop me. It has given me wisdom, resilience, and strength. I am not just a woman with a past. I am a woman with purpose, vision, and legacy. That's a fact. Yeah. One of the things I appreciated most about this program is that it kept God at the center. We are not only taught practical skills, we are reminded that we are women of value, faith, purpose, and leadership. The Overcomer Academy, the program helped me grow emotionally by teaching me how to believe in myself again and to pay attention to areas of my life that needed healing and discipline. It helped me grow spiritually by reminding me that I am not walking alone, that grace is still available and God can restore what the enemy tried to take from me. It helped me grow professionally and educationally by giving me practical tools in goal setting, workforce development, financial literacy, and leadership. I did not just gain information, I gained confidence, understanding, and direction. What touched me deeply was that they did not just teach us, they supported us, they fed us, they prayed for us. They provided supplies and made sure that we had everything we needed to fully show up. That kind of support tells a woman that you are worth investing in, that your growth matters and your future matters. Being a part of an all-woman program made a major difference for me. I felt safe, respected, and seen. I was able to focus, be honest, receive correction, and be held accountable in a way that felt loving and purposeful. I have been in spaces where I did not always feel comfortable as a woman. Even in some recovery spaces, the focus can sometimes be interrupted by unwanted attention and feeling the feeling of being watched instead of supported. But Overcomer Academy was different. Here I found sisterhood. I found women who understood struggle, healing, and the desire to become better. I found women I can look up to, women who encourage me, challenge me, and remind me that I am not alone. Here I found community. And to anybody who's struggling, I just want to say from my heart, you are not alone. I know what it feels like to carry shame, fear, and uncertainty. And I know what it feels like to wonder if things can really change, but they can. There are people who care, there are women who understand, and there are spaces where you can be welcomed, supported, and lifted up. Healing is possible, recovery is possible, and growth is possible. You do not have to have your whole life figured out to begin again. You do not have to be perfect to be worthy of support. Sometimes the step is simply just showing up. And sometimes when you show up, God places you in the right room with the right woman at the right time. What I'm most proud of is that I did not give up on myself. Even when life was difficult, even when I felt behind, and even when I felt broken, I kept going. I showed up, I listened, and I learned. I allowed myself to receive help and to be poured into. This program helped me understand that I am allowed to do more than just survive. I am allowed to grow. I am allowed to build, and I am allowed to become. Tonight, I am proud to say that I am an overcomer. Not because life is easy, and not because I have done everything perfectly, but because I am still here. I'm still healing, and I'm still learning, and I'm still becoming, and I believe God is still writing my story. The Overcomer Academy gave me confidence, direction, sisterhood, and hope. It helped me see myself not only as someone who has survived, but a woman who can lead, create, serve, and have a legacy. So tonight, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the founders, the women who lead this program, every instructor, mentor, supporter, and every woman who helped create this space. Thank you for seeing value in us. Thank you for investing in us. And thank you for creating a program where women can feel safe, supported, and empowered and equipped. Thank you for reminding us that we are not forgotten, that our stories still matter, and that with faith, support, and community, we can rise again. I walked into this program still trying to find my footing, but I am leaving with faith, vision, sisterhood, and a deeper belief in myself. And for that, I will always be thankful. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely cheer for her. Montana, thank you so much for your courage, your honesty, your vulnerability, and willingness to stand up and share your story. We are so very proud of you, and you said it, you're not alone. So thank you for that. This work doesn't just impact individuals, it impacts families. And so we are going to invite our empowered parent, Ms. Shaquita, to speak because it is not just work for individuals. Families matter as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am a mother of 3 daughters. My daughters are from the oldest one from 14 years apart, my middle daughter 10 years apart from my baby. This beautiful baby was born. Boy, did I get a rude awakening. She was going to teach me some lessons about the current times. Savannah was never a disrespectful child, but had the hugest attitude. It wasn't mouthy, but it was a look. Some parents may know what I'm talking about. It looked like you're saying something, but you're not saying something. It was one of those, which got her into a lot of trouble. Because of this, during that time, in her early years, as she would say, we switched schools, we switched friends. It was a really hard time for my household. I had to make some calls to get some assistance because I was a little lost because the oldest 2 definitely spoiled me because they had each other. Around 2021, I ended up talking to someone and they referred me over to Kelly. And they said, "Just surprised you never heard of her." I was like, "Nope, don't know who she is." And I'm out here in the community. So I had a conversation with Kelly. By the end of the conversation, Kelly said, "I'm going to send you something. I want you to enroll her into Empower Girls." What little did I know how much that program would change my daughter's life and me. Savannah had a few rough moments during her first year, but she learned the rules quickly in the program. The girls talk out their problems. They learn how to solve their issues together. And honestly say, that's not the same child that I handed over to Kelly in 2021. Over the last few years, I have watched her make better choices, friends, even some tough decisions that I had a hard time with. But she made the right decision. I watched her natural talent turn into her true leadership that she is. Savannah has a special gift. It's dancing. When I watch her, it touched my heart. I could see her passion, her love, and the feelings that come out. The young people at church looks up to her. They encourage her to keep leading, especially when her song comes on, All in His Hands, thanks to our late Bishop Anthony T. Brunner. I love watching her compete, dance, near and far. Many of her friends have come out and support her. She even made some close friends from the Empowerment Girls. It's like a new sisterhood for her. Growing it from a young girl to a young lady. Having mentors make parents' life so much easier. It gave Savannah someone to look up to besides myself and her sister, someone who understood her. But I also learned a lot too. I learned when to back off, when to listen, when to be quiet, and patience. I'm still working on patience. Usually I get very involved with a lot of the programs that I enroll her in. This one was a little different. Over the last couple of years, I watched her as she go through different channels in life that our young people go through that I may not understand. I watched her reach out to Kelly and some of the staff members and listen and watch them guide her through different parts of it, which made me back off and also understand that it was a safe place and I didn't need to be there all the time, to give her some space. Over the last couple of weeks, I did notice something amazing. When I asked her a question, she already has the answers ready for me. Who, what, when, and how. She's been doing a great job with maintaining her studies and encouraging her friends to do as well. She knows exactly what her goals are. I really noticed it at the beginning of this year. As a family, myself and my daughters, we did vision boards. She's been so adamant and due diligence and hardworking and dedicated to this vision board. I could honestly say that she's been so determined and it hasn't stopped. I want to say a huge thank you to Kelly and her staff members who have made my life so much easier. I don't have any worries. I know that the love and the guidance have been there for her, and this is a long relationship for her forever. And to close out, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It comes from the heart, from a parent who also learned to stay in my place as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shaquita. One of our most important investments that we can make is in prevention, because when young people are equipped with knowledge and are empowered and given confidence and support, informed, they can make choices that protect their future. So we hear it all the time, our children are our future, but I would love to welcome our empowered girl, Autumn, to share with you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Autumn Patterson, and I am proud to be an empowered girl. For those of you who don't know, the Young Women's Empowerment Academy is a program of Project Mona's House that helps girls like me grow into leaders, build confidence, and believe in ourselves. One of the things I love most about being an empowered girl is knowing that there are people who are truly care about us. They encourage us, they listen to us, and they challenge us to be better. And they help us see things in ourselves that we may not see yet. The truth is, every girl in this program has a different story. Some girls come here from two different parent households like me. Oh, some girls are being raised by grandparents. Some girls are in foster care. Some girls have faced challenges that most people their age all should have never have to face. And some girls sign themselves up because they want something different for their future. But when we come here, we're all empowered girls. We're all learning. We're all growing, and we're all being reminded that our lives matter. This year, I had the opportunity to travel to Tanzania, Africa, as our part of our culture exchange program. Before joining this program, I never imagined I would have the chance to travel the world. Now I am preparing to visit another country, learn about another culture, and meet people whose lives are different from my own. That experience is helping me realize that the world is so much bigger than what I see every day. And it reminds me that my future can be bigger too. At Empowered Girls, we have a declaration that we may say together. Part of it says, I am an empowered girl, and I would change the world. When I first heard those words, they sounded big. Now I believe them, not just for me, but for all of us. Because this program teaches us that we don't have to visit until we're adults to make a difference, we can start right now. So thank you to Project Mona's House, thank you to the staff, thank you to the volunteers, and thank you to everyone who supports this program. Because when you invest in girls, you're investing in the future. Thank you.
Autumn, thank you so much for sharing your voice and reminding us how important our youth are. Before we hear from our founder, I would just like to take a brief personal moment. I have this script to say, but I was feeling led to be vulnerable and to share. And when I was 7-year-old, my mom struggled with drug addiction for about 20 years. And when I think about this program and the work that is being done, my heart is overwhelmed and full because I wish there was a Project Mona's House when I was that 7-year-old little girl crying for my mother. And so I'm so grateful for the work and the opportunity that women have to be supported. Serving on the board of directors for Project Mona's House has given me a front row seat to something truly remarkable. Many people hear the words human trafficking and immediately think of a problem that is too big, too complicated, or too overwhelming to solve. But what I've learned through this organization is that freedom is built one life, one family, and one opportunity at a time. Tonight, we've heard stories that remind us that prevention works, that restoration works, that this is God's work and heart work, and that community coming together works. What inspires me most is that Project Mona's House has never been content with simply responding to crisis, but this organization is committed to changing systems, creating opportunities, and building a future where fewer people become vulnerable in the first place. And so that's what tonight is about. It's not just reflecting on how far we've come or just touring this center, but it's casting the vision, as you heard earlier, about where we're going. And there is no better way to share that vision than the woman whose passion, whose faith, and whose determination has helped to make all of this possible. So please join me. I'm gonna say stand on your feet in welcoming the founder and the president of Project Mona's House, Kelly Diane Galloway.
Thank y'all so much for coming out here today on this, what day of the week is it? Monday, okay. Thank y'all for coming out on a Monday, all right? Most of the time, I never ever speak from a script, but I know that we were in a tight time frame, and you ever get in a situation where you speak and then you go back home, you're like, man, I should have said that too. So I'll put it all down here, and then I'll be out the way because we have something that I want to reveal to all of you, okay? All right. So tonight you've heard from some of our overcomers. You heard some of our overcomers downstairs as well. And you've heard from one of our empowered parents and one of our empowered girls. You've heard what Project One's House has been doing in the community. But now I want to talk about freedom. I mean, like literally the real kind. Not the kind that's printed on posters, not the kind that's easy. Somebody say easy. Easy. Not the kind that's easy to post on social media, not the kind that gets the headlines, but again, the real kind. Say the real kind. The real kind. Because the truth is, most of the work we do, you will never see it. Most of the work we do, we cannot post it. Most of the work we do, we cannot talk about it publicly. Y'all don't see the phone calls in the middle of the night. You don't see the women who disappear and come back months later. You don't see the intervention, the court dates, the relapses, the setbacks. You don't see the moments when we have to make impossible decisions. In the last year and a half alone, we had 5 women relapse. We've had women walk away from services. We've had women make decisions that literally broke our hearts. We've had to dismiss women from our program. We've had to have difficult conversations that nobody wants to have. We've had to protect survivors from people who would do them harm. And none of that is glamorous. None of that gets the applause. None of that gets awards. But freedom work is not glamorous. It is messy work. Freedom work is hard work. Freedom work requires showing up when nobody is watching. It requires believing in people when they don't even believe in themselves. It requires going back one more time, making one more phone call, sending one more text message, having one more phone conversation, and trying one more time. There have been days where I've had to walk into crack houses looking for women. And sometimes I get to go through doors, and sometimes I got to climb through windows. But this is what we do. It's for the one. There's been days when I've gone places people told me not to go. There's been days where I had to sit in emergency rooms, stand in courtrooms, and pray in parking lots because somebody's daughter was worth fighting for. And I want to be very clear tonight. Project Mona's House is not committed only to the parts that are visible. We're committed to all of it. The hard part, the painful part, the dirty part, the heartbreaking part. The part nobody wants to talk about because people are worth fighting for. And the truth is, this work is needed now more than ever. Human trafficking is not something that just happens somewhere else. It's happening right here in Western New York. It's happening on lines, in homes that y'all drive by every single day. It's happening in hotels and motels, especially along Niagara Falls Boulevard. It's happening in all of our neighborhoods, and it's happening in businesses. And sometimes it's happening in places that society has normalized for far too long. Recently, Western New York watched the federal prosecution connected to the owner of Farrell's Gentlemen's Club involving sex trafficking and narcotic-related crimes. And that case reminded us of something we already know. These issues are not separate. Trafficking is not separate from addiction. It's not separate from violence. It's not separate from poverty. Trafficking is not separate from homelessness. It's not separate from systems that make people vulnerable. They are all connected. And if we're going to solve the problem, we have to be willing to address the entire picture. Somebody say entire picture. Entire picture. Y'all can tell I preach, right? According to New York State data, approximately 86% of identified sex trafficking victims are women and girls. More than half of that is women of color. Those statistics are not meant to divide us. They're literally meant to wake us up because every statistic represents a human being. Every number represents somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's sister, somebody's mother, somebody that I believe is worth fighting for. And after nearly a decade of doing this work, I've learned something. Human trafficking is not the problem. Human trafficking is the symptom. It's a symptom of poverty, homelessness, untreated trauma, addiction, educational inequity, isolation, the symptom of communities that have forgotten how to care for one another. Until we address those things, exploitation will continue finding fertile ground. And that's why tonight we're unveiling our Freedom Agenda 2030, a roadmap for where we believe freedom can go in Western New York over the next couple of years. By 2030, we want every high school in all of Erie County and all of Niagara County to receive trafficking prevention education. By the end of 2027, we want all parents of those students to have been educated as well. We're launching our Youth Ambassador Initiative that will equip young people to become educators, advocates, and leaders in their own community, and pay them to do it. We're expanding our community engagement work so that young people can work block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, helping communities identify needs and solutions. We're teaching them how to work for their community. We are launching our Brothers for Freedom, a movement that will recruit and train men and boys to become ambassadors against exploitation and advocates for health communities. Because if men are going to be overrepresented among buyers, then men must also become overrepresented among those fighting exploitation. We're fighting for stronger laws. Laws that protect children, laws that hold buyers accountable, laws that strengthen prevention efforts, laws that center survivors. We are building a sustainability plan that ensures this work continues long after any one grant, any one fundraiser, any one board member, or any one founder. And we are continuing to invest in women through housing, workforce development, counseling, mentorship, our Overcomer Academy, and long-term restoration services, because prevention matters, restoration matters, education matters, policy matters, and sustainability matters. It all matters. This year alone, 41 women applied for housing through Project Mona's House. We only had room for 5. The other 36 require referrals and navigation support through our partner network. That tells us something. The need is greater than any one organization can meet alone, which is exactly why partnership is no longer optional. It's necessary, because freedom is far too important for competition, and the people we serve are too important for ego. You see, I am only the 3rd generation in my family born free. My father was born free. My grandmother was born free, and I was born free. But my great-grandfather and everyone before him were born on plantations in this country. And when people ask me what was my ancestors' wildest dreams, I don't think that they were dreaming about me because I'm special. I think their wildest dream was that one day there would be people who believed everybody deserved freedom, not just somebody. Everybody, Black, white, rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, Christian, Muslim, atheist, gay, straight, young, old, everybody. How many bodies? Everybody. Thank you. Now I know y'all listening. Because freedom belongs to everybody, and that is why we work. And that's why I'm asking the community to join us, because no one organization can do this alone. Not one church alone, not one government agency alone, not one school alone. We need partners, and I'm talking about real partners. Partners willing to put aside their egos, partners willing to put aside territorialism, partners willing to stop asking who names gets credit and start asking whose lives get changed. Because if we're not willing to work together, then this work becomes more about us than the people we claim to serve. And that is unacceptable. We don't need more organizations protecting turf. We need more people protecting people. Tonight, I'm calling on Western New York to become interrupters. Interrupters of exploitation, interrupters of violence, addiction, hopelessness, interrupters of systems that continue to make people vulnerable, because we're not simply fighting traffickers. We're building communities where exploitation cannot thrive. Tonight, I'm calling on my community to stand with us, stand with women, children, families, survivors, overcomers, but ultimately to stand for freedom. I need y'all to volunteer, to mentor, to advocate, partner, educate, give. Somebody say give. Yeah. Speak up and show up. Do something. Because freedom is not somebody else's responsibility. Freedom belongs to all of us. And if enough of us decide that freedom matters, then there's no force in Western New York that can stop what we build together. And that, my friends, is all I have to say.
Yes, clap it up. How many interrupters? Raise your hands. We got interrupters in the house. All right, good. I'm feeling that energy. But thank you so much, Kelly, for your leadership, for your vision, and your unwavering commitment to freedom and justice. So as you've heard, this movement is bigger than any one program or initiative. It requires strategy, it requires partnership, and it requires a long-term commitment. So tonight we are so excited to share the Freedom Agenda 2030, a roadmap for where we are going next. We're first going to hear from Jasmine in regards to our youth prevention and restoration agenda. And followed by that, we will hear from Bella on the sustainability of our agenda and our legislative agenda.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Westbrook. I'm a long-term volunteer with the Young Women's Empowerment Academy of Project Mona's House. I'm a public health advocate and someone who believes that every child deserves the opportunity to thrive. Tonight, I have the privilege of sharing the Youth and Community Empowerment Agenda for 2026 through 2030. When people think about fighting human trafficking, they often think about intervention. They think about rescue, they think about crisis response, and while those things matter, we believe there is another question that we should be asking. What if we could prevent vulnerability before exploitation even begins? What if we invested in young people so deeply that they are equipped to recognize their value, advocate for themselves, and build futures filled with opportunity? At Project Mona's House, we believe one of the most powerful things and ways to save women is to empower girls. That belief drives everything that we do. Through the Young Women's Empowerment Academy, we continue teaching leadership, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, civic engagement, workforce readiness, cultural awareness, and community responsibility. And we're volunteers, just so you know. And we are expanding our vision. We believe our young people should not simply inherit communities, but they should help shape them. That is why we are launching our community outreach and civic engagement initiative. Beginning right here in Buffalo, our girls will work block by block alongside residents, block clubs, business owners, and community leaders to identify and create solutions. They will conduct neighborhood surveys. They will help create resource guides for our families. They will help participate in community cleanups and help organize block parties. They will learn how to raise resources and advocate for improvements. They will learn how local government works and how change happens. And most importantly, they will learn that they have the power to be a part of the change. By the end of 2027, our goal is to work alongside residents to support 6 neighborhood block clubs throughout the city of Buffalo, beginning right here in 14215. Because we believe it is time to bring the neighbor back into neighborhood, we also believe that economic empowerment is prevention. This is why we will continue teaching financial literacy, entrepreneurship, wealth building, and ownership. Our goal is that young people leave our program not only with dreams, but with the practical tools to build those dreams. We want our students to understand budgeting, saving, investing, home ownership, business ownership, and long-term financial planning. Because ownership creates opportunity. Opportunity reduces vulnerability, and I'm sorry. Ownership creates opportunity. Opportunity reduces vulnerability. We are also expanding our educational support efforts. Through our new tutoring center and the Connie Porter Literacy Lab, we are investing in academic success because education is a protective factor. Students who struggle academically often face additional barriers. Barriers can lead to disengagement, disengagement can lead to suspension, and suspension can lead to isolation. Isolation can create opportunities for exploitation. This is why literacy matters. Mentorship matters, tutoring matters, connection matters. We are also committed to strengthening pathways for youth involved in juvenile justice systems. In partnership with schools, restorative justice organizations, and community partners, we will continue to work and create opportunities for young people returning from juvenile detention facilities so that one mistake does not determine the rest of their lives. Because every young person deserves a second chance. The truth is, the same things that help prevent violence, the same things that interrupt the school to prison pipeline, the same things that strengthen public health outcomes are often the same things that help prevent human trafficking. Strong families, strong schools, strong neighborhoods, strong mentors, strong opportunities. That's why our vision is bigger than a program. Our vision is a generation of young people who know their worth, know their power, and know how to create change in their communities. Because empowered girls become empowered women, and empowered families create empowered communities. Thank you, and thank you for believing in our next generation.
Thank you, Jasmine. Now we're going to have Bella Lafreniere to present the legislative agenda.
Hi friends, it's been a while. How are we? Thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to be here tonight and such a beautiful night, so thank you for spending your evening with me, and us, I should say. To introduce myself, for those who don't know me, my name is Bella Lafreniere, and I'm the Director of Education and Advocacy here at Project Mona's House, but I have been a little more absent than I would love to have been these last few months, completing my first year of law school. Because I want to make sure that my education and my background keeps doors open to keep advocating for survivors. We've learned about the incredible work being done with prevention and restoration, and those accomplishments deserve every recognition tonight. But lasting generational change that brings freedom to all will require us to challenge every system that allows these traumas to happen. We need to address the policies, the laws, the practices, and the systems overall that create the vulnerabilities we see being exploited. That's why Mona's House weaves advocacy into every one of our programs. It's the heartbeat of our agenda. Our work with women and girls and families who experience the consequences of these social structures lets us identify where they were failed by systems, and these experiences shape the policies and changes we fight for. We're proud to have a strong advocacy program at the local, state, and national level, driving change to better protect the most vulnerable and lift them into positions of empowerment, and hold offenders accountable for their exploitation. This year, just this past week even, we celebrate a really important victory. Before last Friday, literally 3 days ago, in New York State, buying sex from a 15, 16, or 17-year-old was only a misdemeanor. A slap on the wrist. That's less than a year in jail. It's maybe probation, it's maybe fines, and it's frankly unacceptable. Think about it. A junior in high school caught taking candy from the corner store would face the same punishment as a grown adult trying to buy their body for sex. Disgusting. And it looked like for a while that bill was not going to make it off the floor this year. But because of our advocacy efforts with our partners, we called every day. We had billboards on trucks and buses and everything you could believe in to get that bill across the floor and pass the Assembly and Senate in the New York State. We increased the penalties for those who wish to exploit our young people into a felony, and it'll be heading to the governor's desk with hopefully no issue. Because for too long, crimes committed against our young people were not given the gravity they deserve. But our work is not finished. As we look to the next few years, Mona's House will continue pushing for change and remain committed to our goals, like passing the equality model. Yeah. The equality model is a new framework around laws regarding prostitution, because prostitution and trafficking are basically synonymous. This examines how we look at laws now. In the US, we criminalize both the buyer and the seller, that being the exploited person. And that isn't really the whole picture, because in reality, the seller is the one being exploited. And too often, law enforcement focuses all your efforts there and not on the dozens or hundreds of people that allow that one individual to be exploited. By targeting the offenders and not criminalizing the people in the system being exploited, we better address trafficking overall. Additionally, we want to raise the age from 17 to 18 to prevent trafficking and targeting of our youth and to better serve our communities. We want to expand trafficking prevention education across schools, healthcare, social work, places of worship, law enforcement, transportation industries, beauty industries, and the community organizations that are doing the groundwork, because that is everywhere you see trafficking and more. And most important, our guiding light will remain to be centering survivor voices in any conversation and prioritize lived experience expertise so their suffering does not go in vain. Because addressing human trafficking isn't one law or one policy or one victory at a time. It is an interdisciplinary revolution, because it's not just a criminal justice problem or a law enforcement problem. It's educational inequality, it's wealth inequality, It's racial inequality, it's housing inequality, it's gender inequality, and it's the inequality that's baked into every system we see on a daily basis. And it'll take a community effort to correct these inequalities and build systems that don't just address the aftermath of exploitation, but prevent it by increasing protections, increasing accountability, and decreasing the vulnerabilities in the first place. Thank you, and together we can build a safer Western New York.
I thought she was ready to take the mic. All right, thank you so much, Bella. I would now like to bring up our fellow board member, Ms. Maya Drake, to talk about the sustainability agenda.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maya Drake, and I have the honor of serving on the board of Project Mona's House. Tonight, you've heard about prevention, you've heard about advocacy, you've heard about restoration, and you heard where we believe God is taking us down the road. But now I want to answer an important question. How do we make sure that the work continues? How do we make sure that Project Mona's House and all of the things that they have to offer will still be here in 2030? How do we make sure that when the next woman needs housing, the next child needs mentorship, or the next family member needs support, there is someone still here to answer the call? When Kelly started Project Mona's House, she had a vision. She believed God was calling her to create a place where freedom could exist for people who had experienced exploitation, trauma, and unimaginable hardships. But having a vision and sustaining a vision are two very different things. For years, this organization has operated with very limited resources. There were seasons where there was just enough money to pay the rent, to buy groceries, to keep the lights on, provide some services, yet not enough money to properly pay the people who do this work, the work that you see in front of you and behind the scenes. For years, our founder accepted little to no compensation. The organization was built through volunteers. It was built through interns. It was built through the community. Members who give their time, talents, and energy because they believed in the mission and they also believed in Kelly. And while we are here and we are very grateful for every sacrifice that helped us get here, we also need to recognize something that is very important. Organizations cannot be sustained on sacrifice forever. As board members, we have the responsibility to ensure that Project Mona's House is not dependent on one person and not dependent on that person's willingness to work without pay. We have a responsibility to build an organization that can outlive any one leader. Because as long as human trafficking exists, Project Mona's House will exist. As long as vulnerable people need support, Project Mona's House must exist. As long as prevention is needed, Project Mona's House must exist. So that's why tonight we are unveiling our sustainability agenda, and our first priority is diversification of funds. We began as a grassroots organization supported primarily by individual donors. As we grew, grant funding became significant sources of support income. While grants are important, we know that a healthy organization cannot rely on a single funding stream. By 2030, our goal is to build a balanced funding model that includes grants, individual giving, corporate partnerships, faith communities, fundraising events, and earned revenue opportunities. Our second priority is building financial reserves. Many nonprofit organizations face challenges because grant reimbursements are often delayed. In some cases, Project Mona's House has had to wait months and even years for reimbursements for funds that had already been approved. This is a small organization. We cannot remain sustainable waiting for money. That creates instability, and instability threatens sustainability. So beginning now, we are committed to building cash reserves that protect the organizations during those days. Our goal is to save at least 10% of annual revenue each year and build reserves that can support operation when funding is delayed. By 2030, the goal is to save at least 10%, by 2030, we aim to have reserves equal to at least 40% of our annual operating expenses. Our third priority is investing in the people. Tonight, you have heard about the tremendous amount of work, the housing, the prevention, the education, all of the things that are being offered. And yet all of that work is currently being carried by a remarkably small team. And again, we are very thankful for that team and all of their hard work. But the reality is that our staff, they deserve more. They deserve sustainable salaries, they deserve benefits, they deserve professional development, and they deserve the security that comes from knowing their commitment to this mission will not come at the expense of their own families. So by 2030, we are committed to building a fully staffed organization with competitive compensation and benefits that allow us to recruit and retain exceptional talent. Because people are not our biggest expense, people are our greatest investment. Finally, our fourth priority is community ownership. The future of Project Bonus House cannot belong to one founder. It cannot belong to one board. It cannot belong to one staff team. The future of Project Bonus House belongs to Western New York. And sustainability happens when an entire community decides that freedom matters. So tonight, we are not simply presenting a fundraising strategy, we are presenting a survival strategy, a growth strategy, stewardship strategy, and a plan that ensures that this work continues for years to come. Because freedom is not a moment, freedom is a commitment. And our commitment is that Project Bonus House will continue fighting for freedom as long as freedom is needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Creating lasting change means we need to invite everyone to the conversation, and so I would like to welcome fellow board member Jamil Cruz as he presents the Gentlemen's Initiative.
Thank you, Danielle. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamil Cruz, and I currently serve on the board of directors for Project Bonus House. I have the privilege of serving as the only male on the board of directors as well, alongside some dynamic women. For many years, I've had the privilege of watching this organization grow from a vision into a movement. I've seen lives change. I've seen women find healing. I've seen people discover their purpose. I've seen communities come together to fight for freedom. And one of the greatest honors of my life was participating in the 902-mile walk called the Freedom Walk, the Walk to Freedom along the Underground Railroad from Virginia to Buffalo, New York. That journey taught me something important. Freedom has never been won by one group of people alone. Freedom requires partnership. Freedom requires courage. Freedom requires people who are willing to stand up and say, that matters to me too. Tonight, I want to talk about the role of men and boys in this fight. When most people attend events like this, they often notice something. Women volunteering, women organizing, women mentoring, women advocating. And while we're grateful for that, the reality is that human trafficking cannot be the responsibility of women alone. Men must become a part of the solution, not because women need rescuing, but because healthy communities require partnership. Human trafficking is sustained by demand. It is sustained by silence. It is sustained, when harmful attitudes go unchallenged. And that means men have a responsibility to lead differently, to model differently, to mentor differently, to educate differently. And that is why tonight we are announcing the Men for Freedom Initiative. Our vision is simple: to equip men and boys throughout Western New York to become advocates, educators, mentors, and leaders in this fight against exploitation. Beginning in 2026, we will recruit and train 5 men and boys. In 2027, we will train 10. In 2028, we will train 20. Participants will receive specialized education on human trafficking, prevention, healthy relationships, community leadership, and advocacy. But our goal is bigger than training. Our goal is multiplication. These ambassadors will go back into their communities, into their churches, into their schools, into their youth programs, into their athletic organizations, into their fraternities, into men's ministries, into neighborhood groups, and they will help educate others because awareness should not stop with us. It should be spread through every community in Western New York. We are actively seeking partnerships with men's ministries, mentoring organizations, schools, youth groups, community organizations, and civic leaders who want to help build this movement. Because we believe something powerful happens when men choose responsibility over silence. When men choose accountability over excuses. When men choose leadership over passivity. When men decide that protecting human dignity is everyone's responsibility. The future we are working toward is one where men are known not for contributing to exploitation, but helping to end it. A future where boys grow into men who understand respect. A future where healthy masculinity becomes a force for good. A future where men stand shoulder to shoulder with women in creating safer communities. Tonight, we invite men throughout Western New York to join us. Attend the training, become an ambassador, partner with us, help us spread awareness, help us protect vulnerable people, help us build freedom. Because freedom is not a woman's issue. Freedom is a human issue. All of us have a role to play. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamil, for standing up for the men. And now, lastly, we want to talk about education because it still remains as one of the strongest tools for prevention and empowerment and opportunity. So we welcome Emily Marciniak as she presents Education Agenda.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Marciniak, and I am honored to serve as a member of Project Mona's House team. A few years ago, I joined this organization as a law intern. Today, I have the privilege of supporting our work in many different ways, from intakes and participation support to community outreach, education incentives, and assisting our executive director, Kelly. One thing I've learned during my time here is the eyes don't see what the brain doesn't know. Many people believe human trafficking is something that happens somewhere else. They imagine strangers, white vans, dramatic kidnappings, and a situation that seems far removed from everyday life. But what we've learned is that exploitation often hides in plain sight. It can look like untreated trauma, it can look like chronic homelessness, it can look like online grooming, it can look like isolation, poverty, addiction, family instability, or a young person desperately searching for belonging. That's why awareness is not optional. Awareness is prevention. In fact, we believe awareness is the first and greatest form of prevention. If young people know the warning signs, they can protect themselves. If parents know the warning signs, they can protect their children. If teachers, coaches, counselors, pastors, and community members know the warning signs, they can intervene before exploitation occurs. That's why tonight we are proud to unveil Project Mona's House Education and Awareness Agenda for Western New York. By June of 2028, our goal is to provide human trafficking awareness and prevention education in every high school throughout Erie County, and in the majority of elementary and middle schools across the county. By the end of 2027, our goal is to reach every school in Niagara County. Not some schools, not most schools, every school that will open its doors to this life-saving information, because every young person deserves access to knowledge that could one day protect them. But we are not stopping there. We also believe young people themselves are some of the most powerful educators in our community. That's why we are launching our High School Ambassador Program. This initiative will recruit 10 students leaders across Erie County to participate in a year-long leadership and prevention education program. These students will receive specialized training, community service opportunities, leadership development, and public education experience. By the time they complete the program, they will simply not be participants. They will be educators, they will be advocates, they will be leaders capable of bringing prevention messages back into their own schools and communities. And finally, we recognize that prevention work cannot happen through one organization alone. It takes teachers, it takes counselors, it takes coaches, it takes youth workers, it takes community leaders. Over the next several years, our goal is to train at least 110 additional educators and community professionals to recognize vulnerabilities, identify warning signs, and respond appropriately when concerns arise. Because when an informed adult recognizes the signs early, lives can change, and sometimes lives can be saved. Tonight's report is not simply about what Project Mona's House has accomplished. It's about what is possible when an entire community decides that prevention matters. Our vision is simple: every school informed, every educator equipped, every young person empowered, and every community safer than it was before. Thank you for believing in this work, and thank you for helping us build a future where awareness leads to prevention and prevention leads to freedom.
Thank you so much. As I just thank you for spending your time with us this evening on this beautiful sunny day, because this is important. So I realize that you all get it. You understand how important this is. You've heard all of the formal presentation that we have about sustainability, and what I heard in that sustainability piece is that we need people to give. But I'm going to turn I'm turning the mic over to our president, Gabrielle Burns, and she's going to give us our closing remarks and handle any community questions or comments that you may have. But thank you once again for sharing your evening with us and for supporting the work that we are doing. It is so critical and important.
All right, I'm back. I told you, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a liar, and I told you it would be informative, emotional, inspirational, motivational, right? And I hope as you're sitting there, you all feel exactly how I felt when I was in your shoes, in your chair, I should say, right? And I don't know what brought you here tonight, but I know something brought you here tonight. So take a moment and think of that, right? What brought you to take that time on a beautiful Buffalo sunny day to come and share this time in this space with us? And, as you're sitting there thinking about it, think about what those next steps could look like, because there's work to be done. There's so much work to be done. There's a lot. You heard about it all night, right? It takes time. Maybe you have 5 hours, 5 minutes to give. Maybe you have someone in your network that you think, oh my gosh, that person at church, that person at work, my daughter, my mom, somebody, the way my mom tapped me on the shoulder, they would be amazing. Maybe it's $5, maybe it's $500, maybe it's $5,000. I don't know, right? There is something in this room that you can give. And I'm just hoping as you sit there and think of what brought you here today, that you're thinking about, maybe how you'd like to get involved. Now, we have some informational pieces over here that it'd be lovely if you took some time to just on your way out, look at those, take a look at these shocking statistics and the plans and everything in a little more detail. And then we're going to be standing around. We have Kelly, we have Jamil, we have Deborah, Maya, right? There's so many friendly faces. Come tap us on the shoulder. Talk to us a little bit more. If you have questions, please ask. This is a community, and it takes a village. And this is the village, and they're going to get the work done. And we hope that you might want to join that village. So with that, I will close the night off here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank y'all so much. If you want to, you can check out our tutoring center, our Connie Porter Literacy Lab down there. Or if you didn't get the chance to take a tour, you can still hang out with us downstairs. I'll be around to ask questions. If you want to take pictures of what our initiatives are, you can take pictures of those boards right there. So